Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Relay Bitcoin podcast. Today with Matyáš, the founder and CEO, or what's your role at BTC Prague, the biggest, largest, most famous, coolest, best Bitcoin conference in Europe?
Oh, thank you for your kind words, Julian. Hello to everyone. Well, my role is pretty much a program director, I would say. I'm the creative part of our team, and I would say that I am not the founder. I'm a co-founder because it's a family business. We have founded this conference together with my brother Martin, who is a CEO and the business development guy, and I take care mostly about all these other things which not include numbers that much, you know. So
All right.
programs, speakers, marketing, and kind of the vision for the future, how to ride the trend and not being left out. Because I really believe that we are in the time not only for Bitcoin, but for the other technologies which are extremely important. And I kind of feel that we are in a paradigm shift where we don't know what will happen in the future. The future is changing so quickly, and the sci-fi seems like be here, and it's just not distributed very evenly. So BTC Prague is Bitcoin conference, and we always focus 90% on Bitcoin, but those other technologies like AI, Noster, robotics, genomics, biohacking, and also cultural topics like how to be a good parent, how to create your local community, how to build a citadel. That's a very important part of our conference, because if you then don't have the full toolkit, if you only focus on Bitcoin as the best money the humankind have ever invented, you might not be the fastest runner in this race.
Yeah, it's so interesting how Bitcoin has so many implications on our world, on our economy, on our society, on so many individuals. Like if you think about it, at least 10%, probably more like 20% of the world now have familiarized themselves with the concept of Bitcoin, and not only as better money, as digital gold, as a because then they get into what is money and what is wrong with the current money, and then what is wrong with the financial system, the economic system, what is wrong with society, and there's so many. What is wrong with our food? What is wrong with how we raise kids and how we build families, how we think about masculinity and femininity is like I see it for myself that the last 10 years I'm into Bitcoin, the rabbit holes I got into through Bitcoin and the things I started to challenge, about authorities, about how governments rule the world, how elites rule the world, governments, and how we are basically spied and controlled, and why, and the power dynamics and all these things. It's never ending. It just basically starts with that drop in the sea, which is Bitcoin. You find out about Bitcoin and then money, and then there's the ripple effect that never ends. And I've seen myself, but also so many other people really making so much progress and enlightening themselves in terms of personal development through Bitcoin. So all the value changes and everything that is. So it's just, even if you don't invest in Bitcoin, just really thinking about Bitcoin, familiarizing and going deeper into the topic of Bitcoin, I think is just can only be positive for everyone. And that's why also BTC Prague, as the biggest Bitcoin conference in Europe, is so important. But why maybe this year? Because this time many things are different. Even then, you do it for a few years, but this year is really a different year. How do you see the current development and the current situation of Europe in that whole spectrum of things that happen? Maybe even outside of Bitcoin, just in general, to start with.
Good question. Well, I don't think that Europe is in great shape. And I mean Europe as a continent, not as a European Union. That's even worse. And but I'm also a big believer and a constructive person. So how to put it, you know, like who is creating the future? It's people, you know, like it's entrepreneurs who are the motor of the humanity. Those are entrepreneurs, people who like to think hard and being innovative, and who are not afraid to look under every stone, and they are not afraid what they're gonna find there. And I really believe that Bitcoiners are kind of this kind of creatures who will lead the future into a much brighter stance than we are right now. And with BTC Prague, we are trying to prepare the people for this kind of a future, because Bitcoin is 16 years old, right? So it's a teenager. But we don't need to act like teenagers. Maybe we can act like adults. Imagine where we can be only in 4 years, where we can be in 8 years. Why we should not act like we are already there? Like, imagine where really Bitcoin can lead us as a society, as a humanity. I feel very positive about the long-term future. Just the short-term future will have some hurdles, but as every wave, you can choose if you want to ride it. And if you want to ride it, you need a good surf, and you need to know how to surf, or you can at least shield yourself and don't get smashed by it. So I think that the wave which is coming for Europe and for the whole world is the wave of decentralization. It's about Bitcoin, it's about AI, robotics, all these other technologies. And I would like to use the analogy of Industrial Revolution, where few very important technological inventions came in a similar time, and it really changed how the people lived. They moved from a field to the factory, from outside to inside, and the bigger effect of it is that they got more time. Like, they got more time, and they got more decentralized. The power structures got more decentralized. So I feel that the history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And I think that we will have a huge decentralization effect on many other fronts, and people just need to find their way how to navigate in this kind of environment. And because of the nature of this change, which is mostly digital, it's on the internet, I think the best way how to navigate is to find people, mentors, who will help you to navigate, because the internet is full of fake news and just too much chaos. So to find the real deal, to find a signal, I think, and personally, that's how I kind of navigate in this. I have people who I trust and who filter it for me. So at BTC Prague, we are gathering those people in and making sure that the attendees have a chance to talk to them, ask questions, and just making sure that they are growing with us. We are growing as a Bitcoin community together to make sure that we are ready for the future, and we can create the future as we envision it.
And like, talking about all these, just a thought that came to mind when I hear you speak about how the future can be better and brighter with better money at its foundations. If you look at everything that is going wrong right now, most of it is government driven. It's driven by narcissists that are on the top, like the leaders of our world, that somehow have lost their mind, or clearly don't have the best for the people at their heart in what they're doing, because they are initiating crazy frenzies around a pandemic that what started 5-6 years ago. It was very governmental and media driven. and probably behind the scenes elites driven. Then they started all these wars. I mean, now we have wars in Ukraine and Russia for years already. It's a terrible war where the US and the EU are involved, and China and basically the whole world is involved there. And they're funding it with printed money. Now the same is happening in the Middle East with this the big war that's now had started between Israel, which of course is basically also US. The US even directly also participate in this war now, and Iran, and now even Middle East is involved because of the US ally. So it's also, but this is all funded. I mean, if you imagine the cost of this billions and billions every day that now have to be spent on these wars, and now of course Europe and others now are starting to prepare themselves. I think the last 8 years, every year consecutively has seen more spending on army, military weapons, ammunition, etc., etc. So everyone is preparing themselves for more escalation, and all these billions, hundreds of billions, probably trillions at this point that are being spent are all printed out of thin air. So if we would all understand more that Bitcoin is a better money, and we would stop using these dollars that can be printed, that are being printed for funding wars, etc., wouldn't we live in a better world, right? This is something that just came to mind when I hear you speak. Maybe you see other benefits of using Bitcoin, or how Bitcoin can help build a better world for all of us.
No, well, I don't even want to start on such a negative topic as wars. I believe that people should have options, to opt out, to say no. Of course, the power structures are very natural way how people kind of get together, and I don't think that we will deal with narcissistic leaders very soon. But perhaps we can, in the future, create a more decentralized and fair world, and perhaps like smaller city-states, something like you have in Switzerland with cantons. I really like that kind of a system. But with fairer money, of course, the whole world will be much more fair, and it won't be that easy to sponsor wars and different kind of things which the people don't vote for, right? Like inflation is it's stealing from everyone's pocket. It's a very 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 bad thing, and it happened in the past with pretty much coin clipping and just devaluing the currency in different ways, but the technology allowed the governments to do it much more eloquently nowadays. I think that Europe is on the edge of decision where it will go, if it will be competitive in the future or not. And I'm not an expert in geopolitics, and I don't read much of the news if it's not the Bitcoin, if it's not with Bitcoin lands. But I can see the changes happening here in Czech Republic. Just last year, we have passed this law, very friendly legislation about Bitcoin capital gains taxes. So after holding for 3 years, you don't need to pay capital gains taxes. And that just has a huge effect on normal people, everyday Bitcoiners, who until then were thinking about moving to more friendly jurisdiction. And I was one of them, I was really thinking with my wife and family to move to a different place, because I didn't see the future bright. But it has changed, and now I'm building my home here, and we have decided to stay and build here because we seen the change. And I just hope that Czech Republic is a bright example, and the other countries will see it and will follow our lead. And I really believe that the game theory will play out. Unfortunately, not for everyone. I don't like this saying too much, but everyone gets the Bitcoin for the price they deserve. I think it's true, and unfortunately, some of the countries were privileged in a past etap, past years, and unfortunately, maybe they don't need the Bitcoin now. They think they don't need it. With Czech, it's different story. We have not been very privileged in the past past years, past generations, and I believe that's why we are so so native, and that in Czech Republic there is such a fertile soil for Bitcoin adoption, because the people understand the government overreach. People understand the devaluation of money. People understand the surveillance. It's not something what you need to explain twice, because our parents lived in this system for most of their lives, and me and my generation, we are the first real entrepreneurs and people who have the chance to change something for a better.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, where the problems are more visible and pertinent, the people are more prone to adopt the innovation. That's always how it has been. And where actually people are very comfortable and don't have many problems, that's where the innovation is usually lower, because why would you innovate, right? You don't have pressing issue. That's why I think Bitcoin adoption is moving faster in places like in many African countries and many South American countries, and also some Eastern European countries where just the government has not done a good job lately. And so this is then also where more and more people understand this problem and are looking for a solution, which in many see now Bitcoin as a solution. And I like what you said, and how you see kind of your conference as being this place where people can gather who understood that there's a problem and looking for a solution with great leaders, right? Or mentors, as you called it. And so your job in BTC Prague is basically bringing in the best, the world's best leaders and mentors and influencers of the world when it comes to Bitcoin, and how we can build a better world together with Bitcoin, and how we can solve so many problems that we have currently with Bitcoin. And these people can then follow them, discover them, listen to them, interact with them, and so that's a really fun job. No, it's really exciting. With how many of these leading people are you in touch with over these weeks for preparing the conference?
Yeah, it is a very very fun job, and you know, sometimes I need to pinch myself if I'm not dreaming, like, yeah, being on the calls with such a great people. It's amazing, and I'm getting a lot from this. Like, my life changed tremendously in just past few years, because I'm getting in touch with people not only from Bitcoin but from longevity space like biohacking. I'm getting in touch with community leaders and builders. I'm getting in touch with like hardcore hackers and cypherpunks. So me, as a like not very technology savvy person, I know how to use mesh networks and how to convey my communication in absolute privacy. So, like, I mean, it's something what many people think it's somewhere like too far for them, but it's not true actually. Like, really, everyone can learn how to stay competitive and on the top of the game in the upcoming years, because the technology is really not that difficult to navigate. Just to answer your question, how many people? So at BTC Prague we have more than 250 speakers from all continents, from all around the world, and the reason why we mix such a big group of people is because when we started in 2023, before that we had just our Czech speaking Bitcoin conference, Chaincamp, since 2020. But me and Martin, we have kind of see that there are other Bitcoin communities in Europe. There are Germans, Austrian, Swiss. There are people from Italy, Spain, and Great Britain, and they all are very similar to each other, but they differ from each other also a little bit. Like Czechs are more private in a sense that we like to buy non-KYC Bitcoin, and Germans, for example, they don't mind to buy KYC Bitcoin. They didn't in that time, like in 2022, but they were very private about their face, about like OPSEC, and not sharing their private telephone number. So we quickly recognized that we can learn from them and they can learn from us. And the mission since the very beginning was to connect Europe, connect the Bitcoin communities in Europe, which were scattered around the European continent, and they were not communicating with each other.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to make a dent in Europe, and if we want to really change something, we need to synchronize. And that's Prague. It's the headquarters for the change. It's the headquarters for resistance. So it's the place where you can meet like-minded people, not only for like new friends, but you can find a job there. You can find your business partner there, and that's something what you can do online. It's impossible, and people, especially if they are new, they need conviction. That's a very important part of being a Bitcoiner, being convinced that this is something what it's true, that it's something what is not gonna disappear in a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
There are pretty much like 100 questions what you need answer for.
Mm-hmm.
You can decide as a newbie to spend 10,000 hours online and get all these answers and filter them by yourself, or you can go to Bitcoin conference, not only BTC Prague, to every Bitcoin conference and meet people who will just absolutely speed up your process of understanding. Because on the internet, you don't have the chance to ask direct questions and get the answers and like follow up. And this is super important. Especially during bear markets, the conferences are hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
You meet the real freaks who will just like your time will be 10 times more effective than everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What are your highlights in terms of like you organize these 250 speakers? That's crazy. Like over 3 days, 250 speakers on different stages. What are your highlights? What are you really proud of that you made this happen for this year?
Well, for this year, I think I'm most proud of the new track which we are throwing out. It's on Thursday and it's called Bitcoin Living Masterclass. It's about all these other things Bitcoiner love to talk about, except Bitcoin. So just not to repeat myself too many times, but it's AI, it's Noster, it's parenting, it's culture, music, art, it's community building, it's Plan B passports, like some geopolitical opportunism, diversification. It's like all these other tools you need to have in your toolkit, except Bitcoin. And so it's a full day. It starts in the morning and it goes until evening. And we always have a keynote and a panel with Q&A for this kind of topic. So we have 6 main topics, and which will kind of give you a good start. We never lead people by their hand. We just introduce the basics and leave them with homework how to use this technology. But the rest of the path they have to walk by themselves. Except this kind of a Bitcoin Living Masterclass, I think that I need to shill a little bit of you, Julian. So you will be on the on Thursday on the VIP stage interviewing Michael Saylor. That's exciting, right? Are you looking forward to that?
This is insane. Like when you broke the news to me that this is gonna happen, I was like, wow. One side of me was like, yes, sir, I'm gonna kill this. This is gonna be the best. Like, you know, the ambition, the ambitious Julian was like, blah, 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 starting to already plan and stuff. How will I do this? How can I make this the best interview that ever? Right? I had Max Saylor on this very podcast as well for people who want to check it out. This was like a year ago. I had him on the podcast, and it was an amazing interview. But I mean, this guy had so many interviews in his life, probably thousands of interviews. So how do I make this the best interview ever, or the best conversation ever with Michael Saylor? And of course I felt very, very honored. I'm really excited and looking forward to it. And then the other side, the chicken side of Julian was like, oh, holy shit. Like, this is a lot of pressure. This makes me really nervous. And like, oh, am I ready for this? So that, to be honest, was the reaction, but absolutely super fucking pumped and excited about it, because I truly believe I met Michael Saylor a few times, and I had him on the podcast once for 1 hour. And I truly believe he's absolute genius from an intellectual point of view and an entrepreneurial point of view. And he's just one of these people that is like the opposite of half-assing things. Like he's the definition of going all in on something. And this is a really rare characteristic, and that makes him the crazy but super successful guy he is. And for me and you, as ambitious Bitcoin entrepreneurs, I mean, these are once in a lifetime opportunities. So I'm really, really grateful for it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, this is my highlight as well. Mm-hmm. This is going to be my highlight of this conference. Also, another highlight is I'm going to be on main stage right before Michael Saylor, and this was the same last year, and I know this is going to be a highlight because basically you're on stage. Last year I was with Richard Byworth. We were having an amazing fireside chat on main stage about business adoption in Europe. You know, there's 25 million SMEs in Europe. There are only 21 million Bitcoins, so not every business in Europe can own one Bitcoin. As we were talking about this. While we're talking about this, the crowd was coming. I mean, we already had quite some people in the audience that were interested in our talk, but then more and more people coming. Every seat was packed, every seat was covered, and more people standing on the sides, standing in between chairs. In the end, it looked like the whole conference, all these 8,000 or 10,000 people were in this room. It was so packed, and it was super, super cool. So I'm also looking forward to this year. And then, of course, last but not least, we are the first time we will be the main and general sponsor. So Relai and BTC Prague really found this amazing collaboration, and so grateful for that as well. We can make this huge event happen this year together. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited for this. And it's already in 2 months, less than 2 months. It's already happening.
Yeah, it's happening in seven weeks, I think. So, and thank you very much, Julian, for supporting us. It's a huge respect from us what you created with Relai. You're a great company. You represent Europe very well, and we are honored to have you as a general partner. And like, we are picking our partners very carefully. We never work with anyone who is not a hardcore Bitcoiner. We have never accepted any money from exchanges who does have their own token. We also create the program very carefully. We never allowed any politicians speaking on the stage. So those are kind of a very hard decision and important decision, which come from a Bitcoin ethos. And of course, it's not helping the business. If we just say to ourselves, let's accept Binance and KuCoin, we would get fat checks, and it would help us to stay sustainable from a short term, but it would tweak our mindset. And I don't want to sign this devil agreement. Really,
you don't want to sell your soul.
No. We are here for a long game, and it's important to do it right. And also, I believe that the thing that it's not easy, it's actually making us think more about those innovative options and ways how to do it, because it is not easy. The Bitcoin conference business it's just for crazy people. You work the whole year only for 3 days. It builds up, and then in just 8 hours everything disappears, and you have again 1 year to figure out what it's gonna be the thing what will attract people for the next one. This is the 4th year. Michael Saylor is coming for the 4th time. You are coming for the 4th time, and it's more and more important because the world is speeding up, and if you as an attendee invest to yourself and really come to BTC Prague, I'm absolutely sure that this will have a huge effect on your personal life, and that you will never regret coming, even though you've been there before. Because, I understand some people just think about the expenses. Yes, it is expensive to buy the ticket, go to the fly to the foreign city, pay for the accommodation, but it is investment, and education is really a good investment, together with networking and those other things which come together at BTC Prague.
I mean, in the end, people who come to Bitcoin conferences, and maybe that's something that people also should understand that are not at Bitcoin conferences often. It's not only about Bitcoin. It's not about the money. It's not about getting rich. It's mostly about the people that this topic, Bitcoin, attracts, and it attracts really, really interesting, inspiring, super smart, ambitious people that want to create a better world. And so the density of high quality people, I haven't seen anything like that in other conferences. The density of high quality people is so high, and you as a human being, you become more like the human beings you surround yourself with. So that's why it's so important to, as a business owner like you and me, to create a team of A players around you. The more you are around A players, the more you develop as a person. I always try to be the dumbest guy in the room in my company, so I learn and I progress because I surround myself with exceptional people. And you should also do this in private life, and that's why you should also go to conferences, even if you're already sold on the topic of Bitcoin, or you already did your homework about Bitcoin at home, etc. It's still it's such a valuable thing to surround yourself with these amazing people for a few days. So I agree with you. It's definitely worth the investment.
Yeah. It's definitely worth investment. We like for all those people who are afraid about OPSEC, operational security. We don't collect any personal data. You can create a burner email. That's all what we need. We need an email to send you a ticket. We allow people with masks, with fake mustaches and big glasses. We have them every year. It's something what unfortunately I can't do. If I would be a regular pleb, I would definitely do that or consider that. And that's the world where we are moving. It's the cypherpunk future is here. It's just not evenly distributed. So get ready accordingly. It's no way to escape that. It's better to be a warrior in the garden than gardener in the war.
I love it. Absolutely. These are great last words, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, for doing this for years, for being a very valuable participant in the Bitcoin ecosystem, for moving this forward, and being a very good human being. I really enjoy speaking to you, and really looking forward to meeting you in Prague. Last question, as always, but I think you already answered this, but still, listeners are interested in. So you're a Bitcoiner. How much of your wealth in percentage terms do you hold in Bitcoin?
Well, that's a question I shouldn't answer, with my OPSEC prefix. Well, I just invested a huge amount of my Bitcoin towards building my house. So that was a very difficult decision, but I did it.
Mhm.
It's not 100% as it used to be. I think that's the answer I would give. Investing to your house and building your family, that's a priority. We never know how long we will be here. Hodl, of course, but after you get some gains, it's perhaps fine, or at least for me,
Absolutely.
to take some profits off the table.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the best savings technology that there is, right? That doesn't mean you as a human being should stop living and only save until you die. Yes, it's the best savings technology, but that's also what will enable you to afford a better life for you and your family and for next generations in the future. That's exactly the idea. You should save for something, and most people save for a house. At Relai, we have a lot of people now that, because they are working for Relai for a few years and are into Bitcoin for maybe even more years, they now can afford a house. And most people here in Switzerland, at least, very likely in Prague, in Czech Republic as well, and in other European areas, normal people, quote unquote, that are saving in fiat, they cannot afford a house anymore. And if you have made the right decision to be in Bitcoin for a few years, and you now have the means to buy a house, come on, do it. That's exactly what Bitcoin is also for. It's to enable a better life. So I also invested or bought an apartment 2 years ago. You now did, I think. Many relayers did lately as well, and even posted about it. Some get some shit from toxic Bitcoin maximalists, which is also fine. I understand. Like, you should sell your chair and your last pair of underwear to stack more sats. That's the way to go. But also, you're saving for something in the end.
Yeah. Well, again, like, you never know how long you're gonna be here, so. But no investment advice. Everyone can make their own.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Matyáš, for your time.
Likewise.
See you in Prague.
It's great to talk to you.
As always. Have a good one. Cheers.
Ciao.